Huh?
Hmm? Huh.
Okay, so hello everyone once again and welcome back to the channel Sticky History. So today's subject under the microscope is the well-known German physicist Albert Einstein. And there he is, what a guy. But can you tell me why? A lot of people have heard of the name, though many cannot remember his game. So, Einstein was born in 1879 in the city of Ulm, which is in southern Germany in the state of Baden-Württemberg. His family then relocated to Italy, where he continued his studies in Switzerland. A particularly talented mathematician and physicist, he trained to be a teacher and gained his diploma. Despite this already sterling set of qualifications, he couldn't seem to find a job in teaching in Switzerland, despite having gained citizenship by this point. So what does he do now? Well, he gets a job at the patent office in Switzerland working as an assistant examiner. But why wasn't he conscripted, I hear you ask, as his life coincides with the Great War? You'd be right to wonder. He renounced his German citizenship so as to avoid the inevitable military service he would have had to complete had he remained in Germany. He also considered himself a pacifist. One of his first papers was called Folgerungen aus den Kapillaritätserscheinungen and was published in 1900, followed by his thesis in 1905, which led him to receiving a PhD from the University of Zurich. In the same year, he was also producing papers about other physics-related phenomena such as Brownian motion and the photoelectric effect. This was the start of Albert Einstein's academic career. Suffice to say, he did not struggle to get a job teaching from here on in. It was in 1905 that he first mentioned a little formula you may have heard of, which is E is equal to mc squared. This formula works out the energy of a resting particle by multiplying the mass with the speed of light squared. It has since become a revolutionary principle in physics world. This, along with his theory of relativity, has been hailed as some of his most important discoveries. In 1908, he became a lecturer at Bern University, and the following year he was appointed as an associate professor. Being the globe-trotter he was, he ended up in Prague at the Charles Ferdinand University. And this time he accepted an Austrian citizenship, as Prague was in the Austro-Hungarian Empire until after World War I. He returned to Zurich the following year to continue his teaching. Only 2 years after this, he became a German citizen again, becoming a professor at the Berlin University, and also, same time, a director at the Kaiser Wilhelm Physical Institute. And that should be enough to keep him a busy bee for a little while. Taking a quick break from the academic side of Albert's life, as a break, let's have a peek into his personal life and what he was like behind closed doors. Albert was a bit of a womanizer. His 2 marriages were littered with affairs, with one ending in divorce and the other in the death of his wife. He didn't have anything to do with it, but she died whilst they were still married. He married his first wife, Mileva Maric, while they were both in their 20s, and they had a number of children together. The first of which very little is known about, and it is thought that it was perhaps adopted by another family due to the young age of both parents. One of their sons had a nervous breakdown in his youth and was later diagnosed with schizophrenia, and his mother became his full-time carer. During this time, it later emerged that Einstein had been sending inappropriate letters to his childhood sweetheart or crush. He wrote about how regretful he was that they never ended up together and how he felt he had missed out on a life with her. This was at the time when his wife was in fact pregnant with the second child. They got divorced, understandably, 16 years later in 1919, after Mileva discovered that Albert's head had been turned by none other than his cousin, who, if you bear with me here, was his mother's sister's daughter. Cousin. Long family tree there. They married the very same year as the divorce and moved to the United States in 1933. The pair lived happily ever after. Unfortunately, this was not the case. He wrote to and received many gifts from other lady friends to whom he had been talking throughout his second marriage. He was a bit of a schmoozer, a smooth criminal, a dirty dog. Back to cheerier topics. Einstein's Great Nobel Prize came in 1921. I know that's not what a Nobel Prize looks like, but it's the best I can do. And it was for theoretical physics, and notably his theory about photoelectrons. A brief summary: the photoelectric effect is when an electromagnetic radiation, such as light or X-rays, hit a surface and electrons are emitted as a result, which is pretty clever. I mentioned briefly earlier that Einstein moved to the land of the free in 1933. He had both political and personal motives to leave Germany and renounce his citizenship once again and moved over the Atlantic. The Nazis seized his personal sailing boat and also raided his little German cottage, which was later converted into a Hitler Youth camp. As a Jew, Einstein's works were targeted by the Nazi regime and many copies perished in the book burnings. But they did not just target his works. The plot thickened as he was noted as an enemy to their state, and a $5,000 bounty was put on his head. In response to this, Einstein went to the British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, to plead for Britain to free some of the scientists most at risk under the Nazi regime and place them in British institutions instead. Churchill did his best to carry this out. Einstein went to the US and took up a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, where he stayed despite numerous offers from prestigious universities such as Oxford. He was influential in the initiation of the Manhattan Project, which was to build the first atom bomb. Despite this going against his pacifist beliefs, he wanted to ensure that the US was prepared in the event that Germany could attack with a similar weapon. However, he did thoroughly highlight the potential danger of such a bomb. Einstein died in 1955, working until the very end. Strangely, his brain was actually stolen by the pathologist responsible for the autopsy, called Thomas Stultz Harvey. He took the organ without the permission of family or Einstein himself, though he justified it by saying he wanted to find what made Albert Einstein so intelligent. Thank you all very much for watching this video as always. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and comment down below what you'd like to see in the future. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything that's coming up. And I'll see you very soon.